The buying subject to, selling with seller financing model. Will it work in an expensive market? Does it matter how much debt you're carrying on the property? Will it work with expensive houses? That's what we're talking about today on the Sub2Deals Show.
Are you looking to up your real estate investing game? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Sub2Deals Show with your host, Sub2 expert William Tingle.
Hey Sub2ers, my name's William Tingle and I'd like to welcome you to this episode of the Sub2Deals Show, where we talk about all things subject to. Now occasionally we'll talk about other real estate investing topics, but it's always something to help you with your real estate investing business. You know, for the past 11 years, our model has been to buy subject to and sell with seller financing. And I get a lot of questions about that from students. Will this work in my market? William, you talk about buying $250,000 houses in smaller markets across the United States, but I live in New York and the average price of a home is $1 million or $1.2 million or 800,000 or whatever it may be. Will that work in that situation? Well, absolutely it will. It doesn't matter how much debt you're carrying on the property. It doesn't matter the price of the home. What's important is the numbers, how the numbers work. When you're taking over seller financing at 3% and you're wrapping the note and selling it at 7%, you're going to make money on the interest spread regardless of how much debt's on the property. I can buy a house today with zero equity, an $800,000 house where $800,000 is owed, and make over $150,000 in the next 3 years. And we're going to show you how to do that. So let's go out and take a look at a couple of different houses in a couple of different price ranges, and I'll show you exactly how it works. Okay, so in our first example here of how this works, we've got a $315,000 property. This is what you get for $315,000 here in Colorado Springs. Now, if I were to buy this house and I could buy it fully leveraged from the homeowner, let's say, for example, it's worth $315,000, the mortgage balance is $315,000, they need to move, they're highly motivated, they sign it over to me. I'm going to take this $315,000 property, mark it up to $350,000, sell it to a buyer with $35,000 down, and finance the remaining $315,000. Now, take note of the fact that I owe $315,000 and I'm selling for $315,000, so there's absolutely no equity spread there. But this is the magic in selling with seller financing, having the difference in the interest rate and over a period of time. Now, my payments on this $315,000, the mortgage is 3%, my payments are $1,328 a month. Now, I'll sell the same house to my buyer for $315,000 at 7%. Their payment to me will be $2,096 a month. That gives me a $768 a month spread between what I pay and what my buyer pays. So in the final analysis, how much profit do I make on a zero equity deal? Well, I've got my $35,000 down payment. I've got $768 a month for 36 months for $27,600. And then the back end payment, remember I started with zero equity, but over time the difference in the amortizations will give me a $10,300 back end payment in 36 months. So I took a zero equity deal and made a $72,900 profit over 36 months. And this is our first example. Now we're going to go take a look at a higher priced house and the difference that that makes. Okay, in our second example here, this is what you get for $800,000 in Colorado Springs. Now that is way above median priced home in the United States. But for this example, this is what we're using. So this is an $800,000 home. Now same scenario, seller calls, they just bought the house 6 months ago or a year ago, they fully financed it. They owe $800,000 on a house that's worth $800,000. Can we take this over subject to and make money with seller financing? You bet. Here's what we do. We take this house for $800,000, we mark it up 10%, sell it for $880,000, collect an $80,000 down payment. Our payment on our underlying mortgage, again at 3%, is $3,373. We finance the $800,000 to our buyer at 7%, Their payment is $53.22. Now that gives us a $1,949 a month cash flow. Remember, we're starting at zero. There's no back end. We collected an $80,000 down payment. We're collecting $1,949 a month in cash flow. Fast forward 3 years, what does our profit look like? Well, we collected an $80,000 down payment. We collected $1,949 a month for 36 months for a total of $70,100. And what's the back end in just 3 years? $26,100. The difference in the 3% and the 7% has created an additional $26,000 in profit for us in 36 months. Total profit on a no equity $800,000 house, $176,200. Would you do it? I'd do it. So can you make money in a higher priced market with Sub2 and seller financing? Absolutely. And here's a really good example of that. That's it for this episode of the Sub2Deals Show. You can find the show notes as well as a complete transcript at sub2podcast.com. Don't forget to check out our free Facebook group at sub2forum.com and our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Sub2Deals. We upload new videos each and every week with all kinds of tips, case studies, actual seller calls, and all kinds of investing information. So we'd love it if you would subscribe.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Sub2Deals Show with William Tingle. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit Sub2Deals.com and on Facebook at Sub2Deals. We'll catch you next time.